There's a huge shift happening right now in how we build, well, pretty much everything in our digital world. It's quiet, it's happening behind the scenes in lines of code, and it is all being powered by artificial intelligence. So let's pull back the curtain on this code revolution and really get into how it's about to change everything.
I mean, really, just stop and think about that for a second. Imagine you have this brilliant idea for an app, but instead of needing a whole team of engineers and months of work, you could just talk it into existence, describe what you want, and poof, there it is. This isn't some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. It's the new reality that AI is starting to build, right now.
So how does this all actually work? We're going to start by looking at how AI is becoming this new kind of coding partner for developers. And the key word there is partner. It's not about replacing them, it's about giving them superpowers.
The fancy industry term for this is AI-assisted software development. Okay, so think of it this way. Developers are taking these incredibly powerful AI models, the ones that power things like ChatGPT. But instead of feeding them Shakespeare and poetry, they're feeding them billions and billions of lines of computer code from all over the internet. And what you get is an AI that doesn't just understand English, it understands the actual logic of software. And what this AI partner can do is, well, it's pretty amazing. It can generate working code just from a simple description. It can finish a developer's sentences, basically, with intelligent code suggestions. And it's also like a tireless security guard, constantly scanning for bugs and security holes 24/7. This isn't just a small help, it's a massive, massive boost to how fast we can build things.
But with all this incredible new power comes this fascinating and maybe kind of reckless new practice that people are calling vibe coding.
Yeah, the term was actually coined by the computer scientist Andrej Karpathy, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's this idea that you can build software just by describing the vibe of what you want to an AI. You don't have to understand every single line of code it spits out. You just keep tweaking your prompts until the program looks and feels right. It's fast, it's conversational, and it's a totally new way to think about creating software.
And as you can probably guess, this has kicked off a huge debate. On one side, people are saying this is amazing. It lets anyone with an idea build something, even without years of training. It just makes everything so much faster. But on the other side, critics are waving some serious red flags. I mean, who's responsible when the code the AI wrote has a massive security flaw? This speed is great, but it could come at a huge cost to quality and safety.
And that whole concern about security flaws? Well, that brings us right to one of the biggest risks of coding carelessly, whether it's a person or an AI doing it. We're talking about the hidden danger of hard-coded secrets. This is where the amazing speed of AI can suddenly create a developer's absolute worst nightmare.
Let me put it this way. Hard coding is secret, which just means putting a password or a special key directly into your source code, is pretty much the digital version of leaving your house key under the doormat. It's a convenient shortcut that basically hangs a giant welcome sign for intruders.
Okay, so what are we really talking about when we say secrets? What do these digital keys actually look like in the wild?
These digital keys or secrets, they come in all sorts of flavors. You've got API keys. Think of those as special passwords that let different apps talk to each other. You have database credentials, the keys to all your stored information, encryption keys that protect private data, and cloud credentials, which can control an entire company's online infrastructure. Every single one of these is a master key to something incredibly important.
And if just one of these secrets gets out, maybe left in the code by a developer in a hurry or an AI that just didn't know any better, the fallout is just catastrophic. We're talking massive data breaches, attackers taking over user accounts, and doing devastating damage to a company's reputation and its bottom line.
Okay, so that sounds pretty scary, right? But here's the cool part, the twist in the story. The very same technology that's making this problem bigger is also our single best defense against it. We can actually use AI to fight the problems that AI is helping to create. And we do this through something called secrets detection. You can think of it as an automated security guard that is constantly patrolling all of your code day and night, looking for anything that even remotely looks like a password or a key that's been left out in the open. So how does it work? It's basically a three-step dance. First, the AI scans everything. And I mean everything. Every line of code, every configuration file. But then, and this is the magic part, it analyzes the context. The AI is smart enough to tell the difference between a real, live password and a fake one that's just being used as an example in a help file. Finally, it flags only the real threats and can even suggest or just automatically apply the right fix.
And that ability to understand context is exactly why AI is a game changer for this.
Older tools would just look for patterns, and they would cry wolf constantly, sending a flood of false alarms. So many, in fact, that developers would just start ignoring them, which is super dangerous. But AI-powered tools are way, way more accurate. They only flag the real threats, which means when an alert comes in, you know you need to pay attention.
So let's zoom out. Where is all of this actually heading? What's the big picture here? Because this technology is fundamentally changing what it even means to be a software developer.
You know, one of the biggest names in AI, Andrew Ng, he put it perfectly. The whole point here isn't to get rid of programmers. It's to free them up from all the tedious, line-by-line grunt work so they can focus on the bigger, more creative, architectural problems. So the big takeaway here is this fundamental shift in the job description. The developer is going from being a bricklayer, meticulously placing every single brick of code, to being an architect and a quality inspector. Their new job is to design the blueprint, tell their AI partner to build the structure, and then rigorously test that structure to make sure it's safe, secure, and built to last.
And that leaves us with one final massive question to think about. As we hand over the pen to AI, letting it write more and more of the code that runs our lives, our banks, our hospitals, our infrastructure, we have to keep asking ourselves, who is really in control? And how do we make absolutely sure that what's being built is truly in our best interest?